The restaurant was the kind of place where silence cost money. Every step across the marble floor echoed softly, as if even sound had been trained to behave. Crystal chandeliers hovered overhead like frozen constellations, casting warm golden light onto tables dressed in white linen, so crisp they looked untouched by human hands. Soft jazz floated through the air, low enough to feel sophisticated, loud enough to remind everyone they were somewhere exclusive. People didn't come here just to eat. They came to be seen belonging. The mortardi stood straight-backed near the entrance, his suit tailored to perfection, his smile measured and selective. Couples laughed quietly, glasses of wine tilted at elegant angles, watches flashed when wrists moved. Status lingered in the air thicker than perfume. Then the doors opened. A black family stepped inside. The man entered first, tall, early 40s. His charcoal gray suit fit him like it had been designed for his body, and his body alone. No flashy jewelry, no brand logos screaming for attention, just quiet confidence in the way he walked, like someone who didn't need permission to exist in expensive spaces. Behind him was his wife, graceful and composed, her black dress simple but refined, her posture straight, her expression observant. She had the kind of elegance that didn't beg to be noticed but always was. Between them walked their daughter, maybe 16, her hair neatly styled, her eyes bright and curious as she took in the room. She smiled faintly, unaware at least at first of the subtle shift happening around them. Because it happened instantly. Conversations paused for half a second too long. Forks hovered above plates. Eyes flicked up, then away, then back again. Some people stared openly. Others pretended not to. But everyone noticed. Judgment didn't announce itself. It crept. Behind the host stand stood Emily. She had worked here for 2 years, and believed that gave her a sense for people. She prided herself on knowing who tipped well, who complained, who belonged, and who didn't. She wore her black uniform like armor, her blonde hair pulled back tight, her lips pressed together in a permanent line of restrained impatience. Her eyes landed on the family, her smile did not. She watched them the way someone watches an unexpected stain appear on an otherwise perfect surface. She leaned toward the hostess and murmured something under her breath. The hostess glanced up, hesitated, then looked away, pretending she hadn't heard. Emily exhaled sharply, grabbed a menu, and walked forward. Her heels clicked against the marble with purpose. When she reached them, she didn't greet them, didn't welcome them, didn't offer the practiced warmth she gave every other guest. "Do you have a reservation?" she asked, her tone clipped, already prepared for the answer she expected. The man met her gaze evenly. "Yes," he said calmly. "Carter." Emily's fingers moved across the tablet. She scrolled once, twice, her eyebrows lifted despite herself. The reservation was there. Prime time, best section. Her jaw tightened. "For how many?" she asked, her voice cooler now. 3. She nodded stiffly and turned, gesturing vaguely for them to follow. She didn't make eye contact again as she led them through the dining room. They passed tables where white couples laughed softly, where businessmen leaned back in their chairs sipping wine that cost more than some people's rent. Emily didn't slow, didn't point out artwork, didn't explain the menu. She stopped near the back, near the kitchen doors. The sound of clanging dishes and raised voices spilled through every few seconds. Heat radiated from behind the swinging doors. This was not where the Carters were supposed to sit, not according to their reservation. Emily dropped the menus onto the table instead of handing them over. "Someone will be with you," she said flatly, already turning away. The daughter glanced around, confusion creeping into her expression. "Mom," she whispered once Emily was gone. "Why are we back here?" Her mother reached across the table and squeezed her hand. "It's okay," she said softly, though her eyes lingered on the better tables they'd passed. Minutes went by, then more. Servers approached other tables, pouring water, explaining specials, smiling brightly. Laughter bubbled, glasses clinked. No one came to them. The daughter shifted in her chair. She picked up a menu, then put it down. "Dad," she said quietly, "did we do something wrong?" The man looked at her and smiled, gentle and reassuring. "No, sweetheart. Sometimes people make assumptions, that's all." Finally, Emily returned. She didn't bring water. She didn't bring a notepad. She stood at the edge of the table like she couldn't wait to leave. "What'll it be?" she asked. The wife glanced up politely. "Could we see the wine list first?" Emily let out a short laugh, sharp and humorless. "Our wines start at $400. There was a brief pause. The man didn't react the way Emily expected. That's fine, he said. Emily blinked, and she added quickly, the portions here are very small. That's fine too. Something in Emily snapped. She turned abruptly, her elbow catching a glass from a nearby tray. It fell, shattering loudly near their table. The sound cut through the room. People looked. Emily didn't apologize. Instead, she snapped, "Watch your feet." The wife straightened. "Excuse me," she said, her voice calm but firm. Emily turned back, her eyes sharp now, her voice low and venomous. "This is a high-end establishment," she said. "If you're uncomfortable, you're free to leave." The air shifted. Nearby diners leaned in, pretending to focus on their food. The man folded his hands slowly. "We're comfortable," he said evenly. Emily laughed, louder this time. "You don't belong here." The words hung in the air, heavy and undeniable. The daughter's breath caught. "Mom," she whispered, panic creeping in. Emily took a step closer, her voice rising. "Get the F***K out, now." Gasps rippled through the room. A woman covered her mouth. A man reached for his phone. The man stood slowly. "I'd like to speak to the manager," he said quietly. Emily scoffed. "You think that'll help?" She snapped. "Leave, before I call security." The manager hurried over, his expression tense. "What seems to be the problem?" he asked. Emily pointed. "They're causing a disturbance." The man looked at the manager. "We were told we don't belong here." The manager hesitated, eyes flicking around the room, calculating. "Sir," he said carefully, "perhaps tonight isn't a good night." The man nodded slowly. "Perhaps," he said. He reached into his jacket. A hush fell over the room. Phones came up higher. He pulled out his phone and tapped the screen. When he spoke, his voice was calm. "David, it's Marcus." The voice on the other end answered immediately. "Marcus Carter," it said. "What's wrong?" The manager froze. Marcus turned the phone slightly so others could hear. "I'm at La Chateau Noir," Marcus said. "And your name came up earlier today." A beat. "You're joking," the voice said. Marcus looked at the manager again. "Do you recognize Carter Holdings?" The manager swallowed hard. "Yes," he whispered. Emily's face drained of color. Marcus continued. "We own the building." The room erupted into whispers. Chairs scraped back. Phones were no longer subtle. The manager's hands trembled. I didn't know," Emily stammered. Marcus looked at her. "That," he said quietly, "is the problem." Security arrived but stopped short when the owner rushed in. Panic etched across his face. "Mr. Carter," the owner said quickly, "this is unacceptable." Marcus turned to his daughter. "What do you want to do?" he asked gently. She thought for a moment. "I want her to understand," she said. Marcus nodded. "She will." Emily was escorted away, tears streaking her face. Her job gone, in seconds. The manager removed his name tag and set it on the table. "I resign," he said. The owner apologized publicly. Marcus and his family stood. As they walked out, the room stayed silent. Outside, the city buzzed like nothing had happened. Marcus opened the door for his daughter. She smiled, and for the first time that night, she truly belonged. The restaurant was quiet, in the way expensive places always were, where even laughter knew how to behave. Crystal chandeliers cast warm light across marble floors, and every table looked like it belonged in a magazine. People spoke softly, dressed carefully, and carried themselves with the confidence of those who were used to being here. Then the doors opened. A black family stepped inside. The man walked first, tall and composed, wearing a tailored charcoal suit that fit him perfectly without trying to impress anyone. His wife followed, elegant and observant, her black dress simple but refined. Between them walked their teenage daughter, eyes bright, taking in the beauty of the room. They felt it immediately. The pause, the glances, the subtle shift in energy. Behind the host stand stood Emily, a waitress who believed she could read people in seconds. Her smile faded the moment her eyes landed on them. She leaned toward the hostess, whispered something, then grabbed a menu and walked over. "Reservation?" she asked, without warmth. "Yes," the man replied calmly. "Carter." Emily scrolled on her tablet. Her expression tightened when she found it. "For how many?" "3. She turned and motioned for them to follow, leading them past prime tables toward the back, near the kitchen doors. Noise and heat replaced elegance. She dropped the menus onto the table. "Someone will be with you," she said, already walking away. Minutes passed. Other tables were greeted, served, laughed with. No one came to them. "Dad," the daughter whispered, uneasy. Did we do something wrong? No, he said gently. We didn't. When Emily returned, she didn't bring water or a notepad. What'll it be? She asked. Could we see the wine list? The wife asked politely. Emily scoffed. Our wines start at $400. That's fine, the man replied. Her irritation deepened. And the portions are small. That's fine too. A glass slipped from Emily's tray and shattered near their table. She didn't apologize. Watch your feet, she snapped. Excuse me, the wife said. Emily straightened, her voice cold. This is a high-end place. If you're uncomfortable, you can leave. We're comfortable, the man said calmly. Emily laughed sharply. You don't belong here. The words landed hard. The daughter froze. Get the F***K out, Emily added loudly. Now, the room fell silent. I'd like to speak to the manager, the man said. You think that'll help? Emily snapped. Leave before I call security. The manager rushed over. Emily pointed at the family. They're causing a scene. We were told we don't belong here, the man said evenly. The manager hesitated, eyes flicking around the room. Sir, perhaps tonight isn't a good night. The man nodded slowly and reached into his jacket. Phones lifted around the room. He pulled out his phone and put it on speaker. David, he said. It's Marcus. The voice on the other end answered instantly. Marcus, Carter, what's going on? The manager's face drained of color. Do you recognize Carter Holdings? Marcus asked. The manager swallowed. Yes, we own the building, Marcus said calmly. A wave of shock rolled through the room. Emily's mouth fell open. I didn't know that's the problem, Marcus replied. The owner rushed in, panic written across his face. Apologies spilled out. Security stopped short. Marcus looked down at his daughter. What do you want to do? She thought for a moment. I want her to understand. Emily was escorted away. The manager removed his name tag and set it down. Marcus and his family walked out. Outside, the city moved on like nothing had happened. Cars passed. Lights glowed. Why did everything change when they found out who you were? The daughter asked quietly. Marcus looked at her. Because prejudice doesn't disappear, he said. It just hides until it's exposed. They walked on together, heads high, leaving behind a place that had learned, too late, that belonging isn't something anyone gets to decide.